All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and we have been going over the MySQL by examples for beginners, which is at URL right there. So far, I have gone through some of the MySQL commands. We've gone through all of Section 2. We're skipping Section 3 for right now. And in the previous lecture, I went over primary keys and foreign keys, so it's time to talk a little bit about indexes. And the way I'm going to approach this is a little bit different. All right, I'm an instructor at a technical college in Wentzville, Missouri, Rankin Technical College. All right, and these are some of the books that are in my electronic library. I use this book for a JavaScript class I teach, this book for a C# class that I teach, this book for a Java class that I teach, this book for a HTML, CSS class that I teach. So this semester, students are in the C# class. So if I bring this up, I get this book, and I get this book, and the book is in electronic format. But I'm going to type in here 755. All right, and where am I? Well, hopefully you can figure this out. Let's make it 748. Make that 748. All right, how about 740? So, at the back of the book is an index. So if I'm a student in the class and the author says to me that today we're going to talk about arrays, all right, and I have no idea what an array is, I can go into my book here and I can look and say, oh, arrays, 29, 228, etc., accessing element. Well, let's look at page 29 and see what they say in there about arrays. So I go in there, because that's pretty early in the book, and I'd have to look through here, but somewhere on this page they talk about arrays. Now I think the next page that they talked about arrays was 228. All right, declaring an array, etc. So why am I doing this? The point is, if you are given a book and you want to find where something exists in the book, you'll typically either look at the table of contents or you'll look at the index. Well, in much the same way, when you use an index in a database, they make it easier for you to search for something. You can build indexes on as many fields as you want. You can combine fields into a concatenated index, and there's different kinds of indexes that you can have. All right? It says you should index columns which are frequently used in the where clause and as join columns. We haven't talked about joins yet, but what they're saying is if you've got queries that you're going to run often, be those queries select, primarily will be select queries, or update, or insert, or delete. If you've got fields that you often are using from a table in those queries, you should make those fields, you should set up indexes for them, because it makes it faster for MySQL to be able to go in and reference the underlying data. So again, adding indexes to fields in tables will make the idea of running queries should run faster. All right? But there's a drawback, as it says. It's cost and space. Every time you build an index, if the table is updated, the index has to be updated as well. So if you have too many indexes, rather than actually helping to expedite searching and make it faster, it can actually slow down searching and make it slower. So in MySQL, the keyword key, as it says, is a synonym rather for index. Again, in MySQL, you can build an index on a single column, on a set of columns. You can have different kinds of indexes. You remember before I talked about primary keys and that they should be unintelligible. Well, if I'm going to have, so let's go back and look at the example that we just looked at a couple minutes ago, this one. What if I decide that one of the fields that I want in here, we'll make it the first field. It's not going to hurt anything to do that. But we have here Social Security number. Okay, in fact, I don't like that there. I'm going to put it there. And we'll move this one like that. Okay? This Social Security number should not be a primary key because that is an intelligible field where we want unintelligible fields. But we probably would put an index on that would say unique, which would mean that no two Social Security numbers can be the same. You can have as many unique indexes in a table as you want to or need to have. You can have only one primary key index per table, whether that primary key is one field, a single primary key, single field primary key, or multiple fields, which would be a concatenated primary key. All right. You can set up indexes when you create the table. You can alter tables to add indexes, and you can show indexes. Now, let's try that. And we've got, so let's show, is it show index or show indexes? I'm sorry. It's show index from. Okay? So let's try that. And let's say show index from products. And it shows the index that we have, product ID, because that's the only one that we put in there. If we describe products, we can have several products with this, actually product code. Remember, that's pen, pencil, etc. That's saying that we can have multiple products with the same product code. All right, that makes sense. We can't have multiple products with the same quantity. That makes sense. We could have multiple products with the same price. That makes sense. We could have, if we wanted to, we could have put an index in there on the name field. Now, you wouldn't do that on human names. I'm not the only Jeff Scott in the world. All right. But you might want to do that on product names. You might or you might not want to. So, how can we come in here? Okay, we looked at how to add a foreign key. How can we add an index to an existing field in MySQL? That will be another altered table. All right. How do I add an index to an existing table? Add an index to a column? Probably is here, but we'll see. So I'm going to want to alter my... how to alter a MySQL table to add an index to an existing field. And you notice I'm using Google. I'm not too proud at all to use Google. I have no problem with that at all. Alter table. Index, create index, alter. I want to alter table, but I want to be able to add an index. So add index, index name. Make an existing field unique. Alter table, Okay, that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to put a comment in here, and I'm going to paste that in. Okay, so what I want to do, and I'll use products 2. So I'm going to alter table products 2, and I'm going to add unique in a unique index, and that'll be name. And it's set up, well, it said 0 rows affected, which typically isn't a good sign, but we'll check. Let's describe. It doesn't look like that worked. Why wouldn't that have worked? Alter the table, add unique to the name field. Is the right answer. So let's try that one. All right, so we will alter, ignore table products 2, add unique name. 5 rows affected, 1 warning. Well, now let's describe products 2. Now notice the name must be unique. It gave me a warning, which probably said I already have data in here, so I might want to check it. The time to set this up is before you put in the records, but I'm doing it afterward. Why? I want to show you why. So I'm going to select star from products 2. All right, you'll notice that each name in here is unique. But now I'm going to attempt to add a new record. So I'm going to insert into products 2, values, and null for my primary key. We'll make ERA again for the product code. Now I'm going to put in a name I already have, eraser X, and we'll put in 650 and 0.45. All right. I'm hoping that when I do this, I'm going to get an error message so I can show you what's going on here. Duplicate entry for key name. That key name was set up to be unique, which means I can only have one. Each one of these names must be unique. I already have a name called eraser X. I tried to put in another one, so it gave me an error message. All right. So when you use indexes, they must be unique. I showed you, primary key I've shown you before. I tried to put in, I had a record with primary key 2001. I tried to put in another primary key 2001, and it gave me an error message that said duplicate entry. I tried doing it with the name, and it again said duplicate entry. So again, I can take any field or any combination of fields and make an index out of them. Well, that's what they run through in their example right here. All right. Now I'm going to run through this in class, but that's all I wanted to do from here. So let's do the show, what was it? Last thing. Show index actually it adds a keyword, index from products 2 \G. And it's showing, all right, primary key, it's product ID, and I'm not sure exactly what it's all showing in there, no query specified. But they do mention in here that you can run that show index command. Now this was a very short lecture because I just wanted to introduce you to this topic. So when I come back again, we have now gone through Section 2 and Section 4. When we come back again, we're going to add something to this. We're going to add another table, and I don't mean a products and a products 2. We're going to add another table that's going to directly interact and interface with the products table. So I'll be back to do that shortly.